Well, hello, good afternoon. Welcome back to my bait cave. Today I got a little project going on that I wanted to share with you guys. A while back I did a video on powder coating some jig heads, and I got a few questions on the fluid beds that I was using. I guess the biggest question was, were they kind of spendy at a place like Barlow's or something. I'm not really sure how much they cost, but they're kind of expensive. And the question was, do you really need so many? Well, it's very easy to say yes, you need a lot of them because you don't have to clean it out every time you want to change powder paint in it. But it's a real simple DIY project. You could probably make I don't want to exaggerate. You could probably make about maybe 25 of them for the price of one from Barlow's. These are the ones I use right here that I just make at home with some plumbing fittings from Lowe's. And I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. So today I got some new paint and I'm in need of a few more pods or chambers. I'm gonna go ahead and make 5 while I'm at it. And the only reason I'm gonna do 5 is because I went on Amazon. I found a bag of these couplings. I think there was 5 in the bag, and it was, well, I don't know, a couple bucks. It wasn't very expensive. I always have, I use Schedule 40 pipe. I got a bunch of this laying around the house. You could pick this up at Lowe's or any hardware store. Very cheap stuff. Way back when I first started making these, this was the original valve that I used to use, and they break. They made out of plastic, and at the time this was all I could find for the amount of money I wanted to spend. I think they were like 3 cents a piece or something like that. Well now on Amazon, these metal ones, they're much more durable. So I've been slowly replacing, like this one right here. I replaced that one. It was a broken plastic one, so I just drilled a hole out. Hole's got to be a little bit bigger so it fit perfect. And these right here, I can't remember what I got at this whole bag right here. See the prices on it. 12 pieces. There was 12 in this bag, and they couldn't have been much more than a couple bucks, or else I probably wouldn't have bought them. And then the last thing you need is these 2-inch, what do they call them? Knockout test caps. You find them in a plumbing section at Lowe's, but when you're at Lowe's looking for them, be careful not to spend too much money on them. These ones right here I got off of Amazon because my local Lowe's didn't have any. And it was probably a good thing too. These things right here, I can't remember what they were, but it was like a 10-pack for, oh man, probably 10 of them for just a few bucks. When you go on Amazon, don't buy the first ones you see. Shop around a little bit. And all this does is it works as a little cap like this. See how well, you need one on each end, because one of them's gonna be temporary just to keep your powder paint dry and inside, and then the other one is you're gonna glue it in here. To get started, I'm gonna have to cut 5 pieces, and here's one thing you could think of. So let me show you. See, look at the difference in the size of the coupling. So so don't just use my measurements. When you get your couplings, actually measure them. So see, there's a ridge right here, and you don't want that bottom to protrude out very far. So I would say I need 5 pieces, 1.25 inches, and that should be nice. That little bit sticking out is not going to hurt. Matter of fact, it'll make my test plug fit a little bit better in there. So I'm gonna cut 5 pieces, 1.25, and then so coming out the top, you're gonna want enough to actually give you some room to work and to actually hold your paint. So I'll probably I don't know, let's keep it simple. I'll probably cut 5 more pieces 3 inches. Okay, so I'm gonna take you over to another place in my shop that I don't think you've ever been before. Well, let's go. Okay, so it's kind of a mess over here. So don't hold me, but don't really be too critical on me for all the clutter. I know it's a mess, but I'm always out here by myself. So I got plenty of room to work. You know, if I had somebody in here with me, it'd have to be a lot more straightened up, or we'd be on top of each other. All right, so after I have it all set up in here like this, I just I get a close estimate of, I don't know if you can see that, 1.25 inches. And that's it. And it's all plastic, so it's not like it's a real precision job. It's PVC, but you want to get as close as you can to being true. So the other thing is there's going to be some warble, because I'm not gonna run a bit down it. You know, normally you would take another one of these, like one of these cutters up here, and face this off so that it was perfectly in line with the mandrel and the chuck and everything. But again, it's a plastic project, so I'm not going to square it all up. I'm just going to let it warble a little bit, because I'm not going to be very aggressive with this cutter at all. I'm just going to kind of ease it in. So you don't want to cut too much at one time. And I need to, when I start thinking I'm getting through the thickness of it, I'm going to have to back off just a little bit and be ready to it's getting close. I just don't want to I don't want to jam it. All right, so that's it. So from here on out, I can cut the rest with the knife. So this don't normally get stuck in there, but I must have got some junk in it. Sometimes you can just turn it a little bit like that and get it out. So there's my 1.25 inch piece. Just let me get in the camera. this little tool right here. It's a deburring tool. It's mostly for use on aluminum and stuff like that. But it works fine on this little soft plastic like this. And that's it. That's the 1.5 inch pieces. I'll do the rest off camera. So while I got everything all set up, I'll cut a 3 inch. Show you that right quick. Just bring that in as close as I can. That's gonna be a 3 inch right there. I'm gonna cut that the same way. Speed it up a little bit. All this does is makes it a little bit easier to make it square, that's all. If this was aluminum or steel, you wouldn't let this build up like this. It would be very dangerous. But since it's plastic, I'm very lax on caution. Still a dangerous tool, so I really should probably not be that cautious. Really, if the camera wasn't on, I'd probably just cut all the way through before I finish with it, because it is just plastic. So I'm trying to show a little bit of responsibility. Getting it down pretty thin. I'm almost through right there. Alright, that's about as far as you can safely cut into that. It's down it's thin enough where I can cut it with the X-Acto knife now. Just trim it off real easy, and then see how that little thin area, you can just use this knife to, you could cut that off like that, and then come back in here with the deburring tool, and look at that. it's all ready to go. All right, so here we have it. We got all the pieces cut. So the next thing we got to do is on each side of one of these, got to glue in a test plug. Now I just use super glue. You could use you could actually use some PVC cement if you want, but I've never been steered wrong with this super glue. Let's put a little real thin bead right in here. Not a whole lot. But the reason for this, the reason you got to glue this one in is because it's going to build up pressure in here. And this is the side you want to hold the pressure. So it'd be kind of nasty if this blew out. And just set that aside and let that seize up. So the next step, no glue is necessary, so you just get the 3-inch piece you cut and just seat it down on that little, make sure it seats all the way on the inside right there. And you don't want to glue this because there's times you might have to take these back apart. So I'll just go ahead and do that while that glue is drying. Alright, so the next step, if there's going to be a hard part, I would say this would be the hardest. It's time to make the membrane that's going to sit on top of this so your powder don't fall through it and air can still be allowed to come through. So you got to find a filter material. I used to use those brown paper bags. I don't have any more. But you know the little ones that you carry your sack lunch in? That's exactly what I used to use for my probably half of those up on my shelf still have that paper bag in them. But when I was the FOK at one of my units, we used to have to test the fuel every day, especially the JP4 to JP5. So we used to have this machine that we'd run the fuel through, but it would catch the water on these filters. And I didn't know what those filters were called, and it's been too long. That I've ever done that. I can't remember. So I went on the internet, actually just Amazon, and Googled different types of lab filter materials. And this was the one I tried first, and it's been working ever since. I wanted to see if it told me how many parts per million, but it don't. I just picked these out, and I found them on Amazon, and that's what I ran with. And they've been working good ever since. So what I like to do is take the big part with the coupling, and you can't. Well, you can. I was going to say we might be able to get 3, but you can actually get 2 if you wanted to be a little thrifty. Just mark it out. Cut your little circle. Hope I'm in the camera. I got a bad habit of getting out of it a lot. But you don't know how to cut a circle. when we were kids and we're ready to go fight somebody, we had to scratch a circuit. But anyway, just kind of center that up over it. Get your coupling set on top of that just right. And we'll drive it home. Like I said, this could be the hardest part because you got to sit that all the way in there. And I usually do it in a vise. I'm trying to do it with my hand on purpose right here. I'm probably gonna have to tap this in. Let me go do that right quick. So there you go. That's the membrane, the filter membrane down in there, and that thing's drove, and that one's seated all the way. So that's your cup. What I wound up doing was put that in my air vise. I'll show you how I did that this one time. Okay, so it's gonna be the same thing. Already cut that out. I'm just gonna push that in there as far as I can by hand. Some of that super glue's not set up yet. I got it on my finger. I'm gonna stick to it. What I could have done was went through all the trouble and moved this back a little bit, and I wouldn't have to push that in this far by hand, but whoops, air vise, bonk, and that's it. Got her all the way in. All right, I'll do the rest of these off the camera. Okay, so now that all these are together, membranes are in there, got to cut the hole for the valve. And I use these little double-ended jobbers right here for the pilot holes. They seem to grip pretty good and dig right in. But what I like to do, just to get a good measurement, just to kind of keep it consistent looking, is so about 3/4 up is good. That's a good location, because we know that we still got plenty of room, and we're inside the chamber, the air chamber. So I'll just mark all these real quick. The other thing I was going to tell you too is kind of personal preference. Well, see, you got a lot of stuff written on the pipes and everything. So I like to find a blank spot and put my valve there. So when I put my name on the chamber itself, or what they call it, the pot itself, it'll just kind of be clear of all the junk that could be on the back of it. All right, the pilot holes are all drilled. The next size, the final hole is going to be this metric size 5. You don't have to clean it out too much, and that size, it fits. You can put a little super glue on there if you'd like, but if you just kind of twist it, and it gets a really good fit, just like that. So I'm not gonna put no glue on that or anything, but that's done. Let me go ahead and finish the rest of these. So now that all the valves are in, these things right here, like I said, this is just your caps. Those things right there, that'll just keep your powder dry. All right, well, now we're all but ready for a test. So I've got this little cheap aquarium pump. My hose is getting a little bit dried out. I need to get some new hose. And then this is one of the new powders I got. It's Nova Stone Chameleon, but this is black gold. So just gonna pour some in there. It'll take the whole cup full, but I don't feel like I needed that much in there. So let's see, let me get you better in view here, because I want you to be able to see down inside of the cup. See, I hope that don't fall. All right, so I got the valve turned off. I'm gonna hook up the air. I just push that on there, you know, so because don't come off. Okay, so this is something you gotta take note of too, because this is the coolest part of a liquefaction chamber or a fluid pot. All right, so I don't know. Let me put a little piece of tape on this. Tape will help to get my point across. So resting, the powder's down at air. Now I'm gonna turn on the air. See, it's like volcanoing up. Look how high it's come. Look, I think I put too much. I don't even need my thing to show you. It's almost gonna boil over. So that's this super saturated with air. Is like liquid. It's this, basically, I got to take some out of there. Or maybe I can turn this down a little bit. I might have poured too much in it. But anyway, you get my point. I can regulate it a little bit. Also, this pump has a controller on it. So let's see if I open it back up. Try to control the air with this knob on the back of this pump. See, this little knob I'm talking about right here. So I got it on all the way on low. Guess if I juice it up a little bit, I could. But you can see where it'll boil over. Well, anyway, that's it. In some instances, they call that like powdered liquefaction. See, it looks like it's just like water. I don't know. Let me see some. There we go. Let me put a little bit more light on it. Oh, you can see it now, huh? Watch this. See, it's like liquid. And that gets you your really smoothest powder coat. So let me cut this off for a second. See, now that it's going back down, it's going to settle, and then it'll even settle some more. All right, let me turn this back on. I got the heat gun going. I'm gonna coat up a jig head for you. That looks about right. So I'm gonna attempt to powder coat this thing right here. All right, I got it heated up with a heat gun. And there you go. See if I get that to focus. So it's still gonna, this right here, this paint has to be has to go in the oven now for 350 for about a half hour, but you get the idea what it looks like. Let me bring it out there in the sun. So let me get that to focus. Pretty neat, huh? Still real. Let me get a better. All right, here we go. Might be able to get the sun on that. Sun's at a real bad angle right now, but I think you can see what I'm talking about. Well, all right, that's my take on a fluid bed or liquefaction pod or whatever. I guess fluid bed would be the most common term used. And I'm all got it all labeled up, ready to go, put it on my shelf. The next time when I have some powder coating to do. Hope everybody found this video helpful. I don't really know the exact cost of everything because I have so much scrap laying around. I didn't have to go buy too much stuff. My best girl, she says I'm a hoarder because I have so much material, but it actually saves me a trip to Lowe's or Home Depot. But if I had to guess, it'd probably be somewhere between $2.50 and $3 for each bed, which is very cheap. And see how effective it is. It works great. So I'd encourage you guys to just make your own. I use mine all one at a time, but I have seen boards where they're all lined up, maybe 12 of them, and a little air manifold going to each one. And I mean, you could do so many different colors like that. I don't know if I'll ever need anything like that. Plus, too, I don't have the room for it. If I'm gonna do any powder coating, I'm gonna have to just break one out at a time and work on my little bench over here. Someday I might have a shop where I want to put one on a big 12-pot manifold or something like that. Well, anyway, it's about time for me to go. It turned into a beautiful day outside, and I got a few things I want to do. So I'm gonna get off of here. I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, please share it with your friends. I'd also appreciate a like and a follow if you found this interesting. Well, anyway, don't be a stranger. Feel free to message me anytime. I really love getting those messages from you guys. And once again, I'm your old tired veteran, and y'all know what I'm going to say next. Get out there and go fishing. The weather's changing. I know even up north, y'all are getting some thaws now, and down here in the south, it's dang near spring. So everybody needs to get out there and do their own thing, hit the water, bring them kids fishing. I can't emphasize that enough. Got to teach the next generation coming up on how to fish and the joys of fishing and the calmness you get from being on the water. With everything negative in this world going on right now, you fishermen and fisherwomen, y'all teach them kids that there's good people in the world, and lead by example, and y'all be the good people in their lives. Until next time, y'all be careful out there, stay safe, have fun, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.